Hello, and welcome back to Island Tours on the Discovery Channel.
Hola y bienvenidos a Island Tours en el canal Discovery. Si usted quiere ver el episodio completo en español, por favor visita nuestro sitio web www.islandtours.com. Gracias.
こんにちは。島の旅行へ戻りようこそいらっしゃいました。ディスコーバリーチャンネルに入って日本語でエピソード全部見たいならばどうぞウェブサイトを見てください。
你好，大家，欢迎来到Fiji。如果你想听到中文，请你去 www.islandtours.com。
We are currently on the island of Viti Levu. We entered from Naukala Bay and got off our boat at a port on the coast of Suva, which is the capital of the nation of Fiji.
Before we go too far into this tour, let me give you some background information. Legend states Chief Lutuna Sobasoba led his people to Fiji from Polynesia 3,500 years ago. We do not know if this is true or not. It is also believed that 1,000 years after the Polynesians arrived, new arrivals from Melanesia assimilated. These new arrivals supposedly displaced or killed the original Polynesian colonists. It is the blending of these two cultures, Melanesian and Polynesian, which we know now as the indigenous Fijian culture.
Now for some more recent political history. Since 1987, the nation of Fiji has endured a series of political coups, with the most recent occurring in 2006. In the year 2006, the SDL party won in an extremely racially divisive election and began pushing bills through government. The military did not approve of these bills and in turn took over the government. This, unlike past coups, was strongly supported by Indo-Fijians because of ethnically exclusive policies by the SDL party. On the other hand, the SDL party was voted in by 80% of indigenous Fijians who felt like they got robbed of their democratic choice. This sparked ethnic and racial tensions that are still visible to this day.
Hola, welcome to my home. Allow me to show you around. Let me introduce you to some of my friends.
You've probably seen some of the locals wearing skirts. These skirts have many different names depending on where you are in the world. Here in Fiji, we call them sulus. A sulu is a long piece of cloth that is worn around the lower body and tied at the hip. In villages, women are expected to dress modestly and wear long floral dresses with an underskirt called a sulu jaba to cover themselves completely. No revealing attire is to be worn to formal traditional occasions or in villages. However, in cities, it is acceptable to wear casual clothing. Women often wear jeans, shorts, and t-shirts as casual attire. For formal, non-traditional gatherings, women often wear long or short skirts and dresses.
Traditional men's clothing is very similar to women's. Both men and women wear sulus. Many men will have what is known as a sulu vakataga, or work or church. Most men will wear a shirt with a Western-style collar, a tie, and a jacket, and have a matching sulu vakataga and sandals. For men, the sulu is fitted and goes to about mid-calf. Sulus are used for official occasions, dressing up, school uniforms, or work uniforms. In cities, men will also wear casual clothing, typically jeans with baggy shorts and a t-shirt. For formal non-traditional gatherings, men wear shirts and long pants.
Art is also a very important part of society here in Fiji. Historically, a large part of our art is mainly crafting and weaving. We continue to practice these old crafts. In fact, they are a large part of our village life. And many Fijians still sell their work to tourists that come to art fairs throughout the year.
This art also has practical purposes. For example, we weave baskets to carry materials and we make rugs for our homes. Our art is useful as well as aesthetically pleasing. We also practice wood carving and poetry. Performing arts are also still around. We have make, which is different traditional art forms including music and dance that we perform for different ceremonies. Often there is folk music playing during these ceremonies, which is vocal church music, and traditional dances to go with it. One traditional instrument is the lolly drum. used to announce different social gatherings.
Fijians believe all performing arts should be used to teach people about their history and educate them in their ways. They believe art is to help understand the people around us. Performing arts are about creativity, and without creativity, society would be all but dead inside. Fijian society strongly believes in the importance of self expression through music, dance, pottery, weaving, and more. The Fiji Arts Council and the Fiji Crafts Society work hard to keep all the arts alive.
This ties into personal and cultural expression. The art we create and the clothing we wear is a way for us to display and share our culture. Art is something that is very personal to each of us, and it is a very important form of self-expression. It is a large part of our society. This is why you will see that our pottery is different depending on which village you go to, because each one of us has our own specific style.
In terms of language, English is the official language of Fiji, but Hindi and Fijian are also spoken and used in Parliament. There are many dialects of Fijian used throughout the archipelago, but native Fijian languages take most of their words from the dialect of Bow Fijian, which is historically the most politically dominant and prestigious island of Fiji.
Only 56% of Fiji's population speaks Bow Fijian as their primary language, while 200,000 people speak it as their secondary language. 37.5% of the population speaks Indo-Fijian, and only 1.2% speaks Rodoman. 4.5% of the population speaks other languages, but unlike many other Malayo-Polynesian languages that were eventually replaced entirely by English, Fijian is still widely used after Fiji gained its independence in 1970. Hindustani, which is the local dialect of Hindi, is the lingua franca of Fiji.
Now, let's discuss what Fiji is doing to help with global issues. We're optimistic about what the future holds, but climate change does present a big problem for us as well as for other island nations around us. In the last few decades, we've been subject to terrible earthquakes, landslides, cyclones, floods, and storm surges. Using renewable resources instead of non-renewable ones could significantly help to change this. Our government has planned a course of action that guarantees that everyone on the islands can use sustainable energy by 2030. They will make this possible through mainly hydroelectric power, by using structures such as dams. One of the largest dams is the Monasulu Dam, which helps us increase agricultural output as a nation.
This relates to the global context of globalization and sustainability because we are talking about what Fiji is doing as well as what they plan to do in the future in order to prevent global issues. They're trying to find more sustainable methods of doing things in order to lessen their impact on climate change.
This is a perfect example of how friendly Fijians are. They strongly believe in collaboration and are always willing to educate tourists such as yourselves.
However, not all Fijians are this friendly with each other. For example, I, along with some of my friends, are Indo-Fijians, and many native Fijians do not want us here. Although some of them are accepting of us, not all natives are as hospitable. Allow my friend to elaborate.
Yes, I believe it was mentioned before by one of your tour guides. Fiji has experienced lots of political instability due to the several military coups in recent decades. The justification for these coups has varied, from protecting the native Fijians against the supposed threat of overpopulation of Indo-Fijians to promoting equal rights for citizens regardless of their ethnicity. Either way, the political instability caused by these coups led to a sense of lack of personal security among many Indo-Fijians. Because of this, approximately 150,000 Fijian citizens have permanently emigrated since the first coup, and about 5,000 more citizens leave permanently every year.
Let me share some quick statistics with you regarding the breakdown of religion in Fiji. 58% of the population is Christian, 34% is Hindu, and 8% is Muslim.
Religion is also a factor in the ethnic tensions that are occurring within Fiji right now. Fijians make up most of Fiji's Christian population, with the majority of them being Methodist. Christianity was originally introduced to the islands when they were colonized by the British in 1874. Around this time was also when Hinduism was brought to Fiji, again by the British through indentured servants from India. With Hinduism being followed by a majority of Indo-Fijians and Christianity being mainly followed by the native Fijians, it's easy to see how this could create another division between the two groups that could create an ethnic divide. Since the entire country is not predominantly focused within a majority of one religion, it further separates and creates tension among these two groups.
Thank you for that interesting information. Sadly, we now have to say goodbye to these kind people to continue on with our tour.
We've nearly reached the end of our tour, guys. Let's just give you a little more information about Fiji's current economic and political climate.
Let's start off with the basics. What are this country's most important economic sectors? Well, first, we must address that Fiji's economy is mainly based on agriculture, the cash crop and main export being sugarcane. Along with this, tourism is a huge money-making business, acting as the largest foreign exchange earner. These two sections of the economy are perhaps the most important to Fiji, and it's worth mentioning that while these two are the driving force behind the economy, they can also be extremely flimsy. Agriculture can obviously be affected by climate, like in the late 90s when severe drought and subsequent hurricanes devastated the population and the economy. Tourism can be affected by political instability in Fiji. After the 2006 coup, tourism immediately fell by 70% in Fiji.
Along with these two sectors, another dominant area in Fiji's economy is actually manufacturing. The island is responsible for manufacturing a large number of things, such as textiles, garments, footwear, sugar, tobacco, food processing, different types of beverages, including mineral water, and they also dabble in wood-based industries. The whole sector employs about 26,000 workers.
Another interesting thing about Fiji is that math is a pretty big deal here. The University of Fiji has a fairly large mathematics department, and they offer several paths for math majors. The head of the department, Sajida Manan, believes that math plays a vital role in allowing people to solve real-world issues, such as enhancing the ability of reasoning, logical skills, project planning and network scheduling, as well as forecasting the growth of any organization.
Fiji does not have any well-known mathematicians who have made great breakthroughs in the field of math. However, they do have a big annual countrywide math competition that takes place in Fiji. There's one for individual students between 5th and 13th grade based on the Fijian educational system called the Fijian Mathematics Competition, or the FMC. There's also the TMC, or the Team Mathematics Competition. Schools that participate in this competition create a team of 4 that works together to solve problems presented to them. This competition does not seem very significant, but it is a very big deal for students who participate and for the students that win.
And now it looks like we reached the end of our tour. It was great having you guys here with us. Hopefully you learned a few things. Those of you watching from home, tune in next week to the Discovery Channel.